Okay, good morning everyone. So yesterday the last thing that we discussed was Thomas Hobbes' social contract theory. Okay. Now as I told you that he gave a very raw form of social contract in which absolute powers were given to the sovereign. Okay. Then later on many philosophers came and they kept on refining the social contract by adding their own clauses. Like Rousseau came and he added the happiness clause to it and liberty thing. Okay, basically what he did was he presented a critique of social contract given by Thomas Hobbes. Okay, he said that the state should be more concerned with the state should be more concerned with happiness and liberty of people. Okay, see, we should also understand his background. Actually, this Rousseau was a very colorful personality. Okay, very much interested in women and wine. So he often has had relations with multiple women, relations with women twice his age. So I mean those things were really not liked by the society, and he was often reprimanded by the state itself. So he had a lot of frustration towards the state. So what he said, that state has nothing to do. Okay, I mean the state has taken away my liberty. What is right and what is wrong should be decided by me. State should just provide a general framework, and within that general framework I should decide what is right, what is wrong. It should be based on my conscience. Okay, it should not be dictated by state. Okay, so he talked about liberty, he talked about happiness. Are you getting my point? So see, basically he said that happiness lies between extreme wildness and extreme civility. Are you understanding this one? I mean, if you are completely living wild, okay, you are in jungle, there is no rule, no regulations, just that Matsya Raj is there, then also it is going to be problematic for you. Okay, there will always be a threat for your life. But extreme civility is also bad. Imagine if the state starts governing that what dress you will wear, what haircut you are going to have. Okay, I mean whether you can sing or not. What things you are suppose this thing is imposed upon you that you have to read science. Okay, what will happen? Too much organizations, too much civility can also bring down the happiness level of an individual. Are you getting my point? So some liberty must be provided to the individual by the state. Too much control often leads to problems. Okay, in fact one very important quote is, man is born free. Man is born free, but he is everywhere in chains. But he is everywhere in chains. Man is born free. Born free. In chains. Okay, I mean, liberty was there. He was born completely free. But then what happened? Society started leashing him with different things. Man is born free. Okay. So you are understanding this? I mean, this quote explains the basic ideology of Rousseau. Right. He said that my emotions will decide what is right and what is wrong. State has nothing to do. Okay. Man is often the result of his circumstances. Okay. So he was a result, his theory was a result of his circumstances, his character only. Okay. Individualistic, yes, to some extent you can say. Okay. So, this was Rousseau's idea. Got it? Just दो तीन लाइनें लिखो. He was most concerned with liberty. He was most concerned with liberty that he defends in his social contract. That he defends in his social contract. He presents a critique. He presents a critique of Hobbes' social contract. Of Hobbes' social contract, as this contract takes away freedom of man from him. Takes away freedom of man from him. The next para. The government should be responsible to the people. The government should be responsible to the people and must supply freedom and happiness. And must supply freedom and happiness. You can say. Yes. I mean, basically you said that state should not control everything. Okay, again that middle path approach you can say. Okay. That yes, certain things must be controlled by state, like right to property. Okay, some basic law and order things can be there. But apart from that, other things must be in the hands of individuals. He should be the deciding factor. Okay. So the happiest state for humanity is a middle ground between wildness and civility. Okay. His morality, wildness. Wild. Yes. Wildness and civility. Complete wild rahoge, then also it's a problem. Completely civil is also a big problem. Okay. So wildness and civility. His morality is based on conscience. Okay. Conscience. My conscience will decide what is right and what is wrong. And he defined conscience as divine interior voice. Divine interior voice. Okay. See this, moral sentimentalism wala issue, yes. Try to connect things. Okay. Like suppose if a question is there that emotions are the base, what is your opinion on this? Emotions are the basis or reasons are the basis for morality? What will be your answer if this question comes? It's a mix of both. In fact, only a balance between emotion and reason can truly lead to a moral life. You're getting my point? In fact, you can say that empathy, reason, morality comes from empathy and compassion only. Okay. So first of all, that positive emotion must need to be there. Then write one or two more lines. Government should act on the general will of society, on the general will of society, and therefore it should secure, and therefore it should secure everyone's natural rights, everyone's natural rights which are given by God. Okay, one last line. He believed that emotions play important role in morality. He believed that emotions play important role in morality rather than rationalism and empiricism. Okay. ठीक है, rather than rationalism or empiricism. Got it? So, an emotional basis to morality was presented by Rousseau. Next is John Locke. John Locke, rights approach. Okay, what he said, that human beings are born with certain natural rights, and these rights must be respected by the government in social contract. Okay, so this is what he did. He added this rights clause to the social contract. Okay. Rousseau ne basically, see, he said that rights must be respected, but he didn't focus too much on what rights must be there. Okay, he just added liberty, emotions है, वो शायराना type का हिसाब था. Okay, let me live my life. If I want to drink, let me drink. Okay, state should not interfere in this thing. Right. So, अब John Locke ने क्या किया? He specifically focused on rights. That rights are given to humans by God only. These are all natural rights. Okay, and they must be respected by the government. Secondly, he also talked about the idea of empiricism. Okay, Descartes, I discussed yesterday, Descartes only focused on rationalism. Okay, he said that, I mean, through evidence, that thing is completely unreliable. So we should focus on rationalism. I think, therefore I am. Okay, but Locke said that man is not born with any innate idea. हम लोग किसी innate idea, we are not born with a knowledge. Okay, in fact, knowledge that we get from the information that we get from outside, it forms the basis of our intelligence. Okay, so he completely rejected rationalism. He said that only empirical approach is the best one. Are you understanding? उसने खाली empiric की fact से ही intelligence आता है. Okay, you just but see, again he gave relative importance to empirical approach rather than rational approach. वो है, that is there. I'm not saying that this thing is wrong, but he focused more on empirical approach. Okay, empirical था उसका. He said that all knowledge is derived from empiricism. That was his basic idea. Yes, observation. Certainly, yes. Okay. And then he came up with rights approach. Okay. He said that these rights must be protected. In fact, the rights given by John Locke are also part of American Declaration of Independence. What are the three rights given in Declaration? Right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Okay, this word is there in America's Independence Declaration. Okay, but what Locke said that right to life, liberty, and property. So there was a bit of change in this regard. Okay, so these are three natural rights of human beings. Okay, आ रही है कहानी समझ में? And see, one more thing, he also focused on the importance of laws in deciding what is a right and what is a desire. Okay, like if I say that I have a right not to work on rainy days, is it correct? Like many workers says that they have a right to strike. Are you getting my point? So, is it a right or is it a desire? It's a desire basically. Desire will only get converted into a right when it is acknowledged by all the members of the society and has the legitimacy of government behind it. Okay, and where this legitimacy will come from? Law. Law is very important. So only through law one can decide the difference between a right and a desire. This is a very grey area, so government must intervene in it. Okay.
There is a question I have in prelims that when is the liberty? So there was four options given, and the one option was that the maximum liberty is there when there is law. Otherwise, there is no law, there would be liberty.
Yes, bilkul. In fact, that the answer can be derived from Voltaire. If the person who has designed the question, he had this John Locke in his mind, so certainly there could be a completely different answer. Okay. So John Locke. Okay. Just write 2 to 3 lines about it, and that will be all. He added natural rights to social contract. This is the first thing. Second, humans are not born with an innate ideas. Humans are not born with any innate ideas. Thus, all knowledge is derived from empiricism. Okay, so knowledge is derived from empiricism. Got it? Then in social contract, sovereign needs people's legitimacy and consent to govern. In his social contract, sovereign needs the legitimacy and consent of people to govern. Okay, and last point, that state must protect the natural rights. Okay, 3 rights he talked about: life, liberty, and property. Life, liberty, and property. Okay. And American Declaration, property was substituted by pursuit of happiness. Okay, and only law can decide the difference between desire and right.
Autocratic
government. तो गलत है ना, that thing is wrong. Government must have the legitimacy and consent of people, otherwise it would be wrong. Okay, like suppose एक कोई इसी तरह case study आ जाता है, like some action has been taken by government which does not enjoy the support of people. Okay, so maybe you can write about John Locke, what he has to say about social contract. Okay. Now the next is Voltaire. Okay, he was active during the time of French Revolution, so there was a lot of fight at that time between the church and the monarch. Okay, अब उसने चर्च से पंगा ले लिया था बहुत बड़ा. Okay, Now he had to take a side. So he started praising the monarch. Okay. In fact, he also gave away the idea of democracy. He said that democracy is very unpredictable in nature, and therefore only an enlightened monarch can lead to the stability and development. Just what Machiavelli said. Okay. Plato ने भी enlightened philosopher king की बात करी थी. Okay. So he also said that an enlightened ruler is required. Democracy is very unpredictable, and Bible is outdated. Okay. So basically he presented a critique to the church, and therefore he took the side of the monarch. So वो भी उसका politics ही था एक तरीके का. Right. And again rights approach he talk about. Okay. What are the three most important rights which came from French Revolution? Liberty, equality, and fraternity. In fact, all our leaders, Ambedkar, Gandhi, they were quite influenced by these three rights. Okay. Liberty, equality, and fraternity. French ideas. Okay. In fact, later on, when he was talking about politics, he said that monarch should be there and all those things. So people started criticizing him that you are being biased, tell us which party you belong to. So one very important line he said that I belong to the party of humanity. I belong to the party of humanity. Yes, yes, yes. So basically rights approach. Okay. Then see again, earlier only theists were there and atheists were there. Okay, those who believed, those who doesn't believe. He came up with a middle idea of deism. Deism क्या है? Usually we are all deism only. Okay, basically these are the people who believe that yes, there is some superpower, there is some natural force which has created this world. But this force is now not associated with any major religion of this world. Okay, in fact this force is quite secular in nature. And it is not interfering. It has created the world and now the world is operating by itself. It is also not interfering in the daily workings of this world. So this is what we call deism. That yes, there is something, but we really don't know what this thing is. Okay, so deism, if you want to write one line, he said that Bible was outdated. Bible was outdated. He believed in deism, which proposes that there is some kind of supernatural power, but it is not associated with any mainstream religion. Okay. Then democracy, like his idea on governance, democracy is unpredictable and only an enlightened monarch can bring about the change. Okay, in fact, democracy has been criticized by most of the philosophers. Plato, Aristotle, all of them, they criticize democracy. Okay, I'll come to that when I'll discuss philosophical basis of property and governance. Okay, now next is Kant, very important. Immanuel Kant. very important approach he gave, and it is this approach which will be used in many cases. Okay, so the theory of Kant is deontological. If you want to start, the theory is deontological, which gives importance to the performance of duties, irrespective of the consequences. Okay, again he talked about ethical universalism. Kant belonged to the school of ethical universalism. There are certain universal principles that can be applied in all situations. Sorry? There are certain principles which can be applied in all situations. I will come to that. Okay. The first thing is knowledge. Now, what Descartes said? Rationalism. What Locke said? Empiricism. Rousseau said? Emotion. Okay. What Kant has to say? Kant said that both empiricism and rationalism play equal role. Okay. So, both sensory and reasoning abilities are required. Okay, ये लिख लो एक बार. Both sensory experiences and reasoning are required to gain knowledge. Sensory experience is the first stage which helps in obtaining data. Okay. So second stage includes understanding. Which helps in putting data in different concepts and categories. Both leads to new knowledge or revalidation of present knowledge. Okay. Now, next thing is his idea about the world. He said there are two worlds. Empirical world and transcendental world. Okay, empirical world is a world in which we live, and transcendental world is a world which is beyond human realm. Okay, beyond human realm, spiritual realm he is talking about. Okay, and one very important statement he made was that reasoning is restricted only to empirical world. Reasoning is restricted only to empirical world. Okay. And what about his idea of God? God belongs to this transcendental world. And we cannot apply reasoning to prove or disapprove the existence of God. It will lead to an error. God is beyond human reason. Okay. It's a matter of faith rather than reason. Like many people, they try to apply reason on God. I mean, when it comes to magic, when it comes to God, cause-effect relationships are not established. Okay. So faith is important. Empirical world means this human world. Reasoning. I mean, certain reasons are given, like something happens and we give a reason for that. Okay, a cause-effect relationship can be established. Ki if I will do this thing, then this will happen. Okay, I mean, if I will drink water, what will happen? Thirst will go. But the same reasoning cannot be there in transcendental world. There, thirst can go even without drinking water. Okay, and no matter how much you drink, then also that thirst will not go. Okay, so faith is required. What is faith? Faith क्या होता है? अरे ठीक है, सही है, बट थोड़ा क्या है कि थोड़ा नेगेटिव कॉनोटेशन लेके जा रहा है. Okay, you can say that unconditional and complete trust in someone. Unconditional and complete trust in someone. Okay, and see, faith is very important in human life. Okay, why? Sorry?
For motivation. That's what is the base of your interaction. If you don't have faith on somebody, you won't have having interaction. That does not mean anything. For optimism,
optimism, for optimism. Okay, see, you can say, first of all, faith keeps you humble. How? Because you accept that there is someone outside who is more powerful than you, omnipotent. You say God as omnipotent. So when you consider someone stronger than you, you automatically becomes humble. So faith keeps you humble. Okay. It keeps you hopeful. It keeps you hopeful. Why? Because you know that God is present everywhere. Okay. So He is looking at me. He is noting all my karmas. So if I am doing something good, certainly some good will happen to me. Sooner or later. Yes, that's the basis of religion, in fact, hope. Okay. See, if suppose this question is asked in your interview panel, that do you believe in God? So what will be your answer?
personal question.
Yeah, but it can be. Do you believe in God? Or let's say suppose you have mentioned some hobby which is related to all these things. Yes. Okay, why? Because believing in God is a win-win situation. Okay. See, if you believe in God and God is there, then certainly it will be really nice. You will be in a position of advantage. Okay. If you believe in God and God is not there, then also it's good, at least it is giving hope to you. You are not losing anything by that. But if you do not believe in God and God is there, then it is going to be a big problem for you. Are you understanding? So देखो लॉजिक बेस्ड आंसर दोगे ना इंटरव्यू के अंदर तो वो ज़्यादा मार्क्स फेच करेगा. हाँ, एक जैसे सार्थर ने बोला था कि इफ गॉड इज नॉट देयर then human beings are allowed to do anything. Okay, God controls humans. They restrict. Fear of God is there. That is why I said that religious ethics are highly enforceable in nature, because they have an authority over us. Okay. So this thing is very important. God is very important, and there's nothing wrong in believing in God. Okay, but the problem is the other things which are associated with it. See, God is just one part of one component of religion. फिर rituals वगैरह भी आ जाते हैं, particular conduct, all those things also come. ठीक है? ठीक है? So this thing is there. Now, basically एक वो moral law के ऊपर उन्होंने बात किया था. जैसे एक लाइन लिख लो. People who follow the moral law consistently and habitually are called virtuous. Okay, and God will reward happiness to virtuous people. God will reward happiness to virtuous people if not in this world, then in the next world. Somewhere you will get happiness. Karma, yes. Okay. Now here about his ethics. Kant's ethics. This was a basic introduction for Kant. I mean, these things can help you in writing essays. Okay, now what Kant has to say about ethics. Now again, he took into consideration the two basic questions of ethics. The first question is, why be moral? And the second question is, what are the bases or standards of morality? So what he has to say about why be moral? Why be moral में क्या बोला? Okay, only when we are moral, then only we can perform our duty. Okay, so being moral is important to perform one's duty. Being moral is important to perform one's duty. Okay. As per Kant, it is not the consequences of actions. It is not the consequences of actions that make them right or wrong. But the motives of the person. Who carries out the action. Okay, so the consequence is not important, your motive is important. See, many times it happens that you do a good thing with right intention and something bad happens. Okay, so it doesn't mean that you have done something immoral. And sometimes it also happens that you do something bad and it leads to something good. Okay, so I mean, the result is not in your control. What is in your control is your motives, is your intentions. And your intention should be to do your duty. Okay, so means are in your hands, ends are not. The same approach is given in Nishkam Karma, Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so both of them are quite similar in nature. To perform one's duty. This was the first reason he gave for being moral. Okay, he also defined duty as a moral or legal obligation. Duty is a moral or legal obligation on a person. Okay, and sense of duty leads to responsibility. Sense of duty leads to responsibility. ठीक है, एक तो ये हो गया फर्स्ट रीजन. सेकंड रीजन इज इमोरैलिटी लीड्स टू इर्रेशनैलिटी. Immorality leads to irrationality. Okay, what Aristotle said, that how will you achieve happiness? By being rational. Okay, same thing was said by Socrates also, that one must try to achieve rationality in his life. Okay, and Kant said that when you behave unethically, then you also become irrational. Why? Because while behaving ethically, you act on those laws which have been made by human beings only through reason. Like suppose truthfulness. Don't you think that it is based on reason only? What will happen if everyone starts speaking lies? What will happen? Again, there will be no faith, no confidence, and everything runs with confidence only. Human beings are social in nature. So it will lead to complete chaos, complete anarchy will be there. Okay, so it is irrational, and it is not only bad for others but also for you in long term. So if you speak a lie, then it is irrational. It will lead to irrationality. Are you getting my point? So this was his idea. एक लाइन लिख लो. When acting morally, we act on rules that we ourselves have laid down upon us, which ourselves have laid down upon us, comma, within a community of rational beings. Within a community of rational beings. Okay, he assumed that we are all rational. And within this community of rational beings, if we behave unethically, then it will lead to irrationality also. Okay, so these are the two reasons for being moral. Now, what are the bases of morality? Standards of morality. He came up with categorical imperative. Okay. And what is a categorical imperative? It is an absolute unconditional requirement that must be obeyed in all circumstances, and is justified as an end in itself. Okay, 3 commandments he gave. 3 categorical imperatives were there. Okay, and these can be applied in your answers also. That must be obeyed in all circumstances and is justified as an end in itself. It's an end. Okay, you have to achieve these 3 ends. The first condition, the first categorical imperative is what we call formula of universal law. Formula of universal law. Okay, what do you mean by this? Act only on that principle. Act only on that principle which can be a universal law. Okay, I mean suppose you believe in breaking promises. Okay, so can you afford to make it a universal law? Universal law, then everyone should be allowed to break promises. Can you afford to live in a society where nobody keeps his promises? No, you cannot afford it. So see, you can also take example of corruption. Okay, you are taking bribe, you are corrupt. Can you afford to make it a universal law? If corruption is done by every person in a society, will you like to live in that society? No. वो अलग चीज है. Bandwagon एक psychological impact होता है, where people start following you without thinking about the consequences. Assume कर रहे हैं कि बाकी सब करेंगे तो what will happen? Okay, I cannot live in this world, so I cannot make it a universal law. That is why it is unethical, and it is something which can be applied everywhere. Okay, so this is the first principle. Hope you have understood. If this question comes in exam, and it is an important question, so you have to explain it also with the help of examples, like breaking promises, or let's say act of corruption. Okay. बहुत हैं कोर्ट्स, तो बहुत हैं, लिमिट ही नहीं है कोई. Second principle, what he has said is that do not use any person, including yourself as only means. Okay, this is what we call formula of end in itself. Okay, what does this thing means? Human beings should be used as ends rather than means. Okay, if you are taking bribe from someone, what you are doing? You are using that person as a mean to achieve your hedonistic requirements. So here your requirements, your lust is the end, and the mean is a human being. You are using that person to fulfill your desires. Okay, it is not the human who will be benefited in the end. Okay, so all actions which are taken, they must be taken for the benefit of human beings. Okay, and the third principle, देखो उनका application आना चाहिए. Principles themselves are not important. You must learn to apply them in different case studies. Okay. Then third one is act as a member of kingdom of ends. What do you mean by this kingdom of Kingdom of ends is that is an ideal society of rational beings. An ideal society of rational beings following moral law. Okay, basically it says that a person is a sovereign as well as the subject. He is sovereign why? Because only he himself will decide that what is right and what is wrong. Morality can never be imposed from outside. Okay, so he is a sovereign. And why he is a subject? Because once he has decided what is right and wrong, then he must abide by it. So he also becomes a subject of his own morality. Are you getting my point? But this should be decided only by the person, and that too on the basis of reasoning. Reasoning is a common. That is what we call kingdom of ends. Kingdom of ends where all people are rational and they are following moral law. नहीं आई बात समझ में. Suppose you are standing and your wife is drowning. I think wife is not the right example. Okay, suppose your friend is drowning. Okay, wife तो जा रही है तो वैसे ही जाने देंगे. Okay, so your friend is drowning. You don't know how to swim. What will you do? Arey, you don't know how to swim. Okay, certainly, I mean, the other people may say that you should have jumped. At least some probability would have been there to save him. But again, I mean, the other people should not decide it whether you should jump or not. You yourself will decide it whether it is right or wrong. Okay, and the best possible thing in this scenario is that you will go and find someone who know how to swim. Or you will find other means to save that person. You will try to throw rope or anything, you try to create some obstruction, but certainly yes, you will not jump. Even when the society will ask this thing for you. Other people should not decide what is right and wrong, only you have that authority with you. Okay, and why this authority has been given to human beings? Because they have a conscience. Okay, conscience is inherent, this has been said by Kant only, that every person from deep inside knows that what is right and what is wrong. Why? Because conscience is inherent in human beings. Conscience is inherent in human beings. Okay. So deep inside we all know. Like if I personally believe that corruption is right, so again it will not lead to self-consistency. Irrational हो जाएगा ना वो. Why? Because if suppose I become the victim of corruption, what will happen? Then I will start criticizing it. So self-contradiction will come. It is not based on reason. So it is wrong. Are you getting my point? This is the idea. This is the third principle. Rationalities में एक line लिखो. Moral law arises from free and rational will. Moral law arises from free and rational will, which is self-determined and self-legislative. Okay, self-determined and self-legislative. You yourself will decide. Legislation will be there that what is right and what is wrong. So you will be the sovereign as well as the subject. Okay. This is principle, na? Like why be moral? Dion word has come from the word duty. Okay, so duty based approach. No matter what the consequences, I will perform my duty. Yes. Okay. एक और अच्छा एक कोट था कांट का कि inequality is the source of evil. Inequality is the source of evil, but also the source of good. But also the source of good. What do you mean by this? अरे अच्छा है ना, everything is good. But see, maintenance is also there. एक बार Mercedes खरीद ली तो ये थोड़ी कि चलती रहेगी. Maintenance work. We will be motivated to move, to make a change or to progress. It again depends upon how we are taking it. Like in fact, one experiment was conducted by one of these European universities in a school. Okay, what they did, that a classroom was there, around 40-50 children were there in the classroom, and the average score of that classroom was around 75%. Okay, average percentage of one semester. Okay, some people were scoring 95% also, some were scoring 40% also. Later on, they were told that no matter how much you score, all of you will get the average score. Okay, then the exams were conducted. What happened? The average score went down to 60%. In the next round of exam, it went down to 50%, and then 40%, and then all of them starts failing. Are you getting my point? So inequality is also a source of good things. It motivates people to progress. You getting my point? Progress कैसे होगा? Inequalities है. Okay, so that is why it's basically an advantage of capitalism also. Capitalism. हाँ, वही तभी मैं कह रहा हूँ कि कम्युनिज्म का एक फेलियर भी है ये. Okay. Okay, so this is the idea. So this is done, Kant is done. Now the next approach is Bentham's utilitarianism. Or what we say, quantitative utilitarianism. Okay. In fact, I told you earlier that this approach is based on altruistic egoism. Altruistic egoism. Okay, you are altruistic as well as you are working for self-interest. How this thing is possible? Okay, basically the idea is that this approach started with self-interest. That human beings are under the governance of two sovereigns. What are these two sovereigns? Pleasure and pain. Okay, so it starts with egoism, that we all work for our hedonistic tendencies, we all work for our self-interest. Okay, but it is not looking for the self-interest of a single person, but of the whole society. नहीं आई बात समझ में? Suppose you are a district collector. Okay, floods are there, cloudburst is there, which has led to flooding. Now, this flooding has created two islands within the district. Okay, on this island 20 people are there, and on this island 30 people are there. There is only one boat to sail. Okay, you are on this island. Which one you will go for? But this goes against utilitarianism. Utilitarian says maximum good for maximum number of people. So this number of people, it converts this egoism into altruism. It is based on self-interest, but self-interest not of a single person, self-interest of the whole society. Okay. Utilitarian का यही है. Utilitarianism में दो, it started with egoism. Yes, hedonistic tendencies are there in human beings. They work for pleasure and pain. Okay, so the idea should be to maximize pleasure and minimize pain. Okay, but not for a single person, for the whole community. And when we start looking it for the whole community, then it also becomes altruistic. It is egoist, it is hedonistic in tendencies. Sorry?
As an I didn't understand, because the utilitarianism itself talks about the maximum for the maximum. So how the egoism comes?
Egoism is self-interest. See, again the interpretation is different here. Okay, hedonism भी कह सकते हो आप इसको. Okay, you can say it hedonistic altruism. Are you getting my point? Self-interest here is not of an individual, but is of the society. सोसाइटी का भी तो सेल्फ इंटरेस्ट हो सकता है, नेशनल इंटरेस्ट नहीं बोलते. When you're talking in terms of countries, then it's a self-interest of a whole country, not an individual. Here the perspective is different. There the perspective was individual. Here the perspective is of society. So society's self-interest we are talking about. Okay, and because society's interest is there, it is altruistic also. You have to give away your life. Okay, but by giving away this life, what is happening? Maximum happiness, maximum pleasure is coming. Okay, so hedonistic तो fulfill हो ही रहा है, plus but because you are also giving away your life, तो altruism भी हो रहा है. नहीं हो रहा? अंडरस्टैंडिंग है देखो सारी की सारी, और कुछ नहीं है. It just depends upon different perspectives. So it starts with hedonism and ends with altruism. Okay, इसमें एक दो लाइनें लिख लो. Nature has placed mankind under the governance of two sovereign masters, pleasure and pain. That is pleasure and pain. Okay, again we discuss utilitarian approach, greatest balance of benefits over harms. If you have three options, A, B, C, what will happen? Which option you will take? 40, 30 and 10. So this one, A option will be taken. Simple idea. First of all, you will try to find all the options, then you will try to find out all the pros and cons of those options which will happen in the future, and then you will take that option which leads to maximum benefits over harms. Okay, but again certain criticisms were also associated with this approach. What were the criticisms? First of all, how you will calculate the future one, this thing is very subjective in nature. Secondly, how to compare your life with the economic benefits for the society. Okay, then it is only a means-based, ends-based approach, means are not taken into account. And then justice. Justice is often neglected because of utilitarianism. Sometimes it leads to injustice. I gave you an example that Britishers used to justify their rule over India on the basis of utilitarianism. Okay, so even if it leads to maximum benefit, but then also it is unjust. Okay, so these are the basic things you can apply. If a question is there on Bentham, you can use all these things. Okay, one thing that I didn't discuss at that time was the hedonistic calculus. एक ये लिख लो. How you will measure these future pros and cons. Hedonistic calculus. Calculator basically. Calculator which measures the pleasure. Okay. Some of the criteria which have been taken are, the first is intensity. Intensity, how intense the pleasure is going to be. Okay, like if a nuclear plant has been established, so the energy that it will provide, how intense that thing is, how intense impact it is going to make on the life of people. Second thing is duration. For how much duration that pleasure is going to be. What will be the life of that nuclear plant? No, criticism nahi hai. It is the method through which you calculate the pros and cons of future. Various factors that you will take into account to calculate things. Calculus hai ek. Third thing is proximity. Proximity. Okay, I mean in how much time the fruits are going to be there. You will start receiving energy from that. Fourth is certainty. Okay, like nothing is 100% certain, certain probability is there. Maybe there can be a nuclear accident also. Okay, so certainty. Next is purity. Purity. Freedom from, that is freedom from pain. Suppose यहाँ पे यही है. Okay, this is 40. So कौन सा ऑप्शन लोगे? A या B? A लेंगे भाई. Less negatives है. It is more pure in nature. आई बात समझ में? हाँ. Step towards justice. Okay, so it should be pure. The next is fruitfulness. Fruitfulness. That is capacity to give rise to other pleasures. Capacity to give rise to other pleasures. Okay, like if nuclear plant is there, then job will be provided to local people, infrastructure development, other things will also happen. अरे वो इनडायरेक्ट है ना, इसलिए उनको जस्ट कैलकुलेट कर रहे हैं. इनडायरेक्ट इम्पैक्ट क्या होगा? इट विल लीड टू मोर इनकम फॉर द पीपल, उनसे एजुकेशन आ जाएगा. ऑल द पेरिफेरल फैक्टर्स विल बी कवर्ड अंडर फ्रूटफुलनेस. एंड द लास्ट वन इज एक्सटेंट. एक्सटेंट, दैट इज द नंबर ऑफ पीपल अफेक्टेड. Okay, so this thing makes, this number of people affected, this thing makes his idea of hedonism, it converts it into altruism. अब यहाँ पे altruism हो गया. Start hedonism से ही किया कि man is the product of pleasure and pain, but he ends with altruism. Okay, so यहाँ पे in fact he also gave force. एक लाइन और लिखो उसमें. Bentham's doctrine of hedonism, Bentham's doctrine of hedonism becomes altruistic by the dimension of extent, and by 4 sanctions. Four sanctions. He said that human beings are under 4 sanctions, which stops them to work for their self-interest. Okay, क्या है वो 4 sanctions? The first is natural or physical sanction. Natural or physical sanction. Okay, like eating pizza gives you happiness, but if you will keep on eating it without any limit, what will happen? Your health will become worse. Some disease can also, natural constraints basically he is talking about. Okay, so consideration of health and fear of disease. Consideration of health and fear of disease is there. Then political sanction of law. You love jumping red lights, but that pleasure will be contained by the political sanction. Third is social sanctions. Social restrictions are there. There will be a fear of social boycott. Okay, Hindu boy loves a Muslim girl or vice versa. Pleasure is there, happiness is there, but social sanctions. Sorry? नहीं तो altruism यहाँ पे we are talking about an individual. ये तो बात ही नहीं करे ना, यहाँ पे वो नहीं करेगा. Why? Because it is for the overall good of the society. अरे ये अभी डिस्कस करेंगे. सी एज पे यूटिलिटेरियनिज्म ऑल्सो दिस थिंग he should go for marriage. Suppose a case is there, a boy is there who loves a girl from other community, but traditional society is there. Okay, then what he shall do? क्या करेगा? हाँ, भाग जाएगा. He will elope with the girl. पकड़ के ले आएंगे then also. How you will apply utilitarianism on it? As per utilitarianism, two options are there. Either you will elope with the girl, you will marry the girl, or you will leave her. Okay. So what will you do? Leave her. नहीं, गलत बात. यूटिलिटेरियनिज्म भी देखो यही है. In short term, everyone will be happy except girl and boy. Okay. So more happiness than pain. Okay, but in short term. In long term, what will happen? It will lead to more distance between the communities. It will also set a very bad precedent for those who are going to be, who are going to be a pair in the future. Maybe other people who love girls and boys from other communities. Okay, so bad precedent will be set. There will be the enmity between the communities will still remain. In fact, it will further increase. So in long term, it will be harmful for everyone. You can involve Ambedkar, you can involve Gandhi. They called for intercaste marriages की बात किया था दोनों ने. नहीं नहीं इंटरडाइनिंग की बात करी थी, क्यों नहीं की थी गांधी जी ने? बिल्कुल करा था. हरिजन मूवमेंट के टाइम ही सेड कि इंटरकास्ट मैरिज से और ये इंटरडाइनिंग से it is going to resolve. People will become more empathetic towards each other if these steps are taken. अब गांधी के ऊपर 100 वॉल्यूम्स हैं. देखो, अब आपने कौन सा वॉल्यूम पढ़ा मैं नहीं जानता, बट मैंने जो वॉल्यूम पढ़ा उसमें दिस थिंग वाज देयर. ओके, सो दिस थिंग इज देयर. सो दीज 4 सैंक्शंस आर देयर. ओके, 3 ही हुए हैं क्या अभी? रिलीजियस सैंक्शन डाल दो. चौथा रिलीजियस सैंक्शन. Religious sanction, that is fear of divine wrath or anger of gods. Okay, so this is the utilitarian approach of Bentham, which calls for maximum good for maximum number of people. Then J.S. Mill also came. In fact, he never presented a critique of Bentham. He just added one more thing to it. He said that yes, pleasure must be quantitative, but it should also be judged on qualitative basis. So, qualitative utilitarianism. Okay, he gave an extended explanation. He gave an extended explanation of utilitarian approach. Okay, he divided pleasures into 2 types: physical pleasures and mental pleasures. Okay, and how this quality will be tested? Like for that quantity we had that hedonistic calculus, but what about the quality? He said that there can be no test for quality. Okay, and he left it on the verdict of competent judges. This word was used by him. Mill leaves it to the verdict of competent judges. To decide the amount of the level of quality of a particular thing. Okay, see, basically he assumed that every person has a natural sense of dignity. We all have that natural sense of dignity attached with us. Okay, and certainly we would not like to convert into a lower organism. कौन जानवर बनना चाहता है? We always try to go upwards only. So we have this dignity. So we will be truthful while measuring the quality of a particular thing. You getting my point? So this was his assumption, that all human beings have a natural sense of dignity with them. Natural sense of dignity with them. No man would consent to be changed in to the lower animals, to change in the lower animals. नहीं, यूटोपियन क्या assumption है, you always want to become better than your previous self ना. Okay, so certainly अरे self interest में तो है आपके, it is in your self interest only to become better than before. Okay, like he gave one quote also, that it is better to be a dissatisfied Socrates than a satisfied pig. Okay, why? Because the quality is different. It is better to be a dissatisfied Socrates than a satisfied pig. A satisfied pig is also not bad. Sometimes we, because we all have those animal instincts in us, so sometimes we just want to lay down, okay, no restrictions, nothing, we just want to relax and enjoy our life. Okay. Okay, then knowledge is a curse sometimes. So sometimes knowing everything is a curse. Okay. So Bentham said 4 sanctions are there. He added one more sanction. And what was that? Conscience. He added the 5th sanction, conscience. Okay. So Bentham and Mill done. Now I would also like to talk about one feminist, Carol Gilligan. Basically, Carol Gilligan is there. One more is there, Mary Wollstonecraft, but her ideas were quite similar to the ideas of Carol Gilligan only. In fact, they are all feminist scholars. So if there is, if a question is asked on the school of feminism, so you can write these ideas only. Okay. See, what were the concerns of ancient philosophers? What was their concern? Ancient हो गया, medieval, moral, कोई भी हो गए, क्या concerns थे basically? Their concerns were society. They are concerned with virtues of honesty, truthfulness, okay, justice in the society, teamwork, equality. These were their virtues. Basically, they were more concerned with public relations. But women are more associated with what? Domestic, personal relations, you can say. Okay, personal relations. So this difference came, ethics of care versus ethics of justice. Okay, so this was their idea, that the present, the contemporary philosophy must also give equal consideration to ethics of care. What kind of relationship, like women, they approach ethics very differently. In fact, Kohlberg said that women never reach the higher levels of moral development. Okay. In fact, there was a lot of criticism for this thing. In fact, Carol Gilligan say that, I mean, it's not like that they never reach. It is because they approach the situation completely different from men. Men concerned with justice, fairness, women are more concerned with relationships and responsibilities. Okay, so their approach is different, their content is different. Okay, so these gender roles which have been imposed upon women, they must be destroyed. Equal rights must be there. Multiple things were there. Yes, I hope you understand the difference between sex, gender. ये सब पता है ना आपको? सेक्स क्या होता है? Biological, male, female. Okay, gender. It's biological. It's social construct. What is masculine and what is feminine? Who's a man? Male plus masculine. And who's a woman? Female plus feminine. This is biological, this is social. Now if a man becomes a cook, तो क्या? His manhood will be questioned. Why? Because male तो है, biologically yes he is a male, but that gender role, that society, what society is expected from in those masculine traits, they are absent. Okay. I hope you are understanding this idea. This basic thing is there. In that topic, ethics in public and personal relations also, you can use this idea. Okay, suppose differences are asked in personal and public relations, so you can write there ethics of justice, here ethics of care. Okay. Now just write few lines. Caring and the moral issues of private life, caring and moral issues of private life and family responsibilities were traditionally regarded as trivial matters. Were traditionally regarded as trivial matters. Traditional ethics prizes masculine cultural traits, like independence, autonomy, intellect, hierarchy, culture, justice, war and death. Okay. They give less weightage. They gave less weightage to culturally feminine traits, like interdependence, community, connection, sharing emotions, body, joy, peace and life. Joy, peace and life. Okay. So Carol Gilligan, she raises this debate by ethics of care versus ethics of justice debate. Okay, ये debate उसने शुरू किया. Just 2-3 more lines about her. In ethics of care, she provided an alternative. She provided an alternative to Lawrence Kohlberg's model. Who claimed that girls in general do not develop their moral abilities to the highest level. Carroll argues that girls approach ethical problems. They approach ethical problems differently than men. Their morality is based on responsibility and relationships. Whereas men base it on fairness and rights. Okay. See, every year at least one essay is there regarding women issues. Okay, and there you can write this perspective. Okay, it can be asked in your public and personal relations. In ethics paper, 10 marker can also be there. Yes, certainly. Okay. So एक quote भी है इसमें, one is not born a woman but rather becomes a woman. One is not born a woman but rather becomes a woman. Okay. Another, एक और है इसके ऊपर UPSC is not going to ask questions. Friedrich he belonged to the school of moral nihilism. Moral skeptic था ये, moral nihilism. He is classified as a moral skeptic. He is classified as a moral skeptic and regards ethical and believes that all ethical statements are false. All ethical statements are false. They are mere interpretations. Okay, so basically he says that do not value anything. Okay, like what's the problem with this world? The world has defined that certain things are good. Like for example, developed countries have decided that democracy is good. They have set an ideal. Okay, now what is happening? They are doing wrong in order to establish this ideal. What is happening in the Middle East? Or let's say in Afghanistan. Afghanistan society has never internalized the idea of democracy. Okay, democracy has never been there. In some states, even monarchy works really well. But what is happening now? They are imposing the idea of democracy on Afghanistan and Iran. In Iraq also this thing is there. Okay, so what is happening? Now they are doing wrong in order to establish a particular definition of right. नहीं आई बात समझ में? ओके, सो दिस वाज द आर्गुमेंट ऑफ फ्रेडरिच नीट्स. So he said that we should not, जैसे निष्काम कर्म का भी है जो, like we set moksha as our goal. Okay, in Indian philosophy we set moksha as goal. Okay, now it also says, niškam karma says that do not desire for anything. But when you set moksha as your goal, then certainly desire will come. Are you getting my point? At one place it is saying that there should be no desire. You should not go for the fruits. But on the other hand, you are also setting moksha as your goal. Are you getting my point? So moksha से desire आ जाएगा, and then in order to achieve that moksha, then you will start doing wrong things. Okay, so ये problem है. ये भी एक काउंटर पर्सपेक्टिव है, बट दिस थिंग इज हाईली नेगेटिव, बहुत ज्यादा ही आइडिया कुछ एक्सट्रीम हो जाता है. सो यूपीएससी इज नॉट गोइंग टू आस्क क्वेश्चन ओवर इट, बट कुछ भरोसा नहीं है, फिर आप लोग ये ना कहो कि इसको छोड़ दिया था. सो जस्ट हैव अ बेसिक आइडिया अबाउट इट. ओके, सो बेसिकली ही सेड दैट rather than focusing on what should be done or what ought to be, we should be concerned with what ought not to be. Okay, ये करते हो कि बस ये नहीं करना आपको, उसके अलावा जो मर्जी करो, इट्स कंप्लीटली योर विश. ओके, सो एक ये लाइन लिखो उसकी, पीपल शुड बी कंसर्न्ड विद और आइडियल शुड बी सेट अबाउट what not ought to be, what not ought to be, rather than what ought to be. Okay, we should not value anything. We should not value anything. We should not value anything as value leads to desire. Buddhism से he was influenced. Okay, so this is done. Now these modern philosophers are done. I have discussed almost every approach, right? Like in fact, see, other scholars, other philosophers are also there, but I have discussed the most important scholar belonging to a particular school. Like David Hume is there. He belonged to that moral sentimentalism, but we have discussed it through Rousseau. Okay, Indian philosophy also called for it, like this moral rationalism, Aristotle and all these people are. Adam Smith is also there. But again, see, I mean, it is not possible for us to cover everything. So I have discussed the most important ones. Right. Now, contemporary. Okay, see, basically a French philosopher, he said, I mean, he believed that the modern or the previous philosophy is very abstract in nature. Okay, it is very generalized in nature, and it completely, I mean, it don't take into account the basic human reality or a particular situation. Post-structuralism, you have heard this word? क्या है पोस्ट स्ट्रक्चरलिज्म? सुना तो होगा, इनफैक्ट इन मेनी डिसिप्लिन्स दिस थिंग हैज बीन देयर. पोस्ट मॉडर्निज्म है, पोस्ट स्ट्रक्चरलिज्म है.
एनलाइटमेंट में जो आइडियाज आए थे तो उसके अगेंस्ट आता है. इट ट्राइज टू डिमोलिश ऑल
स्कूल्स.
द स्कूल्स बेस्ड ऑन एनलाइटमेंट.
हाँ. मतलब different disciplines have handled differently, but the basic idea is that there is nothing perfect, and it is basically based on contingency approach. Okay, that no school can work in every situation. This is basically what it's saying. Like earlier in these 40s and 50s, the idea was to establish different schools. There was a Gandhian school, there was a Kantian school, there was a utilitarian school. Different schools were there. But now this post-structuralism says that these schools are not going to work. Why? Because we have to take a situation-specific step, and that step will be completely based on that particular situation. This is the idea. आगे समझ में ये है खेल सारा. अब उसने he started with existentialism. Do we exist or do we live? एक ऑस्कर वाइल्ड का एक कोट है इसमें. ऑस्कर वाइल्ड, टू लिव इज द रेयरेस्ट थिंग इन द वर्ल्ड. टू लिव इज द रेयरेस्ट थिंग इन द वर्ल्ड. Full stop. Most people exist, comma, that is all. Now tell me, do we exist or do we live? How we start? As a child, we start with existence. Okay? In the initial 3 or 4 years of our life, the only goal is to survive through this period. ये survival goal होता है in the starting 3-4 years, to survive. And then at around the age of, let's say, 5 or 6, we realize our existence. We gain conscious. We became conscious of ourselves, that I am there in this world. ये होता है ना, आप कब conscious हुए थे about your identity? इतना late. I mean, you don't remember anything about your childhood. Purpose वगैरह वो आगे पहुंच गया. I'm just talking about existence. Around 4 or 5 usually, 3, 4 or 5. It depends from child to child. Okay, you realize your existence, and once you realize your existence, then you start willing. फिर आप विल करना शुरू करते हो कि आई शुड गेट दिस थिंग, आई शुड गेट मोर क्रैकर्स, मोर टॉफी, चॉकलेट्स, वीडियो गेम्स, ये सब का आता है विलिंग. एंड देन यू बिकम व्हाट यू विल. ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट स्टेटमेंट है. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल यू रियलाइज योर एग्जिस्टेंस, देन you start willing, and then you become what you will. So human beings are basically the results of the choices that they made in the past. In fact, through our choices only we keep renewing our life, otherwise it will become stagnant. Like people many times they don't take choices, they just reach a level and they just stay there. Okay, only when you will make a choice you will renew your life. So this is the basic idea, that we start with existence, but then later on we forget to live. हम existence में ही मर जाते हैं. अरे existence देखो पहले क्या, existence का मीनिंग क्या होता है. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल एक दो कैरेक्टर्स लिखो existence के. What is existence? Existence is, in case of existence, there is no aim. There is no aim of life. Okay, it's about maintaining status quo. Okay, hesitation in taking opportunities, hesitation in taking opportunities and chances to grow, being self-absorbed, okay. And what is living? What is living? Finding joy and humor in your environment, showing passion in your life, showing passion and enthusiasm, optimistic thought process. I mean, facing uncertainties of life with optimism. Having clear, meaningful goals. This is what we call living. Making choices, taking risk. एक कोड भी है ना, risk keeps you young. Risk keeps you young. वो गाना है ना, यही उम्र है कर ले गलती से मिस्टेक. So it is based on this idea only that risk must be taken in life. Okay, then only mistakes will happen. Okay, so now we start with existence and then we move towards living. But that movement will only get possible if we will start making choices. And we are the results of the choices that we make in our past. Okay, in the past you made the choice that you are going to become a civil servant. Now you are preparing for it in a diligent manner, and what will be your future? You will become a civil servant. Okay, so हाँ, अरे वही तो, I mean it's not the result, it's a choice. The moment you start making choices, yes, you start living also. Okay, so I'm not talking about the result, but this step of making a choice, that is more important. ठीक है, ये आइडिया था आपका एग्जिस्टेंशियलिज्म से स्टार्ट होके एंड में जाता है. ठीक है, अगेन इट प्रोवाइड्स यू एन ऑप्टिमिस्टिक अप्रोच. जैसे एक क्वेश्चन आया था लास्ट ईयर, what do we I mean the problem, one can trace unethical behavior to the narrow meaning of good life assumed by people. Last year this question came. Okay, why? Because they मतलब जो narrow idea है good life का, unethical behavior comes because of that narrow idea only. ठीक है, so उसमें you can use that Maslow's need hierarchy model, that the lower order needs, human beings, they just get stuck in those things, and these things are only good for existence part. जो दो नीचे की थी, security and physiological and security needs, they are good only for your existence. लिविंग के लिए हायर तीनों, सोशल रिकग्निशन, सेल्फ एस्टीम और एक्चुअलाइजेशन चाहिए. हाँ, वो भी डाल सकते हैं, यस, वो भी डाल सकते हैं. ओके, तो इसमें लिख लो चाहे तो 2-4 लाइनें. अरे सारे जितने सब पर्सनैलिटीज के डाल सकते हो. ओके, लाइक सी, लाइक जो ग्रीक मैथोलॉजी है, बेसिकली इट्स अबाउट फॉर हाउ मच टाइम यू विल बी रिमेम्बर्ड आफ्टर योर डेथ. पीपल लिव फॉर दैट थिंग, लेगेसी की बात करते हैं. Okay, like when this Achilles, when he was going for the war against Troy, okay, so he went to his mother to ask for her opinion. So she said that you are not going to come back. Okay, I mean you are certainly going to die in the battlefield. But if you will live here, okay, you will have your family, you will have your children, everything is going to be there. After your death, they will remember. I mean. They will remember you. Okay, their children, your grandsons will remember you. Around 80-90 years you will be remembered, and then everything will be done away. It will be a closed chapter. But if you will go out there, Okay, there will be no family, nothing is there, you are going to die. But then you will be remembered for many thousands of years. Anant tak, for infinite time you will be remembered. So that was the basic idea. Okay, for how much time you get remembered. आपके बच्चों से कुछ नहीं होता है. अब मोदी जी है, कोई family नहीं, nothing, but he will always be remembered. God knows for what reasons, but he will be. अटल बिहारी जी remembered रहेंगे. ठीक है, बच्चों से कौन remembered होता है? So you have only one chance, one life. So try to make best out of it. Okay. So men first of all, पर इसका प्रॉब्लम भी है. When अभी जब मैं इंडियन फिलोसफी पे आऊंगा तो मैं इसको काउंटर करूंगा सारे को. Okay. Men first of all just exist. Men first of all just exist. After realizing his existence, comma, man starts willing, and then become what he wills. Thus man is nothing. But what he makes of himself. He has the ability to make choices. And through his choices, comma, he consistently renew his life. Man is totally responsible for what he is, and what he becomes. Okay, this is the idea. ठीक है, एक लास्ट छोटा सा 5 मिनट और लगेंगे. एक लास्ट आयन रैंड को और करते हैं. आयन रैंड. ओके, बेसिकली शी वाज, हाँ बहुत बुक्स वगैरह हैं, सब कुछ है. शी वाज बोर्न इन रशिया, but then later on she became a US citizen. Okay. I mean, she had a very bad experience about that communist regime, and so she was strictly against any form of organized religion and dictatorship. Okay, she was an atheist. जैसे अपनी गौरी लंकेश वगैरह थे अभी, those who got died, or I can say killed. Okay, so she was an atheist. She was a rationalist, and she fought for the rights of people. Okay, right-based approach था उनका. Okay. And rationalist थी, she was a rationalist. So what was rationality for her? Rationality for her, she looked things from rights perspective. So rationality for her was to recognize your rights as well as the rights of other people. Okay, rights को approach करो, simple right है. She says that, I will make you write these things, don't worry. She said that every person has a right to life. Okay, so any action which is taken for your happiness is ethical, and any action which leads to or which violates your right to life is unethical. But your right to life should be compatible with the right to life of other people. This is a condition attached over here. So ये सीधा simple सा approach था. ठीक है. Controlled, she talked about that ethical egoism or selfish egoism she talked about. Okay, I will come to that. First of all, just write 2-3 lines here. She was an atheist, rationalist, she was an atheist, rationalist, and an ethical thinker who believed in rights approach. Rationality means recognizing the rights of self, as well as others. Every individual has a right to life. Every individual has a right to life, and thus whatever supports a happy and healthy life is good, and whatever is detrimental to life is bad. Okay, everyone must have the liberty to take decisions for themselves. Everyone must have the liberty to take decisions for themselves, provided they also take the responsibility of consequences. But provided they also take I mean, yes, you have the liberty to take decisions for yourself, but you should also take the responsibility for that. Okay, you are preparing for civil services. If you will clear, certainly you will get all the praise. But if you didn't, then you should also be ready for all the blames. Okay, responsibilities. Now she talked about rational self-interest or ethical egoism she talked about. She said that there is nothing wrong in being selfish, provided how you are defining selfishness. And she defined selfishness as rational self-interest. What is rational self-interest? That you will work as per your own judgment, you will work for your happiness, but you will not force anything on other people. Okay, she said that yes, I mean there is nothing wrong in helping others, in showing altruism, but a person doesn't have any moral duty to help other people. कोई ethical unethical नहीं होगा. If suppose like वो वाला जो case था, that accident वाला जो case था, your relative has met an accident and you are going for the interview. Okay. So yes, you can help her, but there is nothing moral about it. I mean, if you help your relatives, then it is good. But even if you don't help them, then it will not be immoral. It will be a zero. It will maintain the status quo. यही बात समझे. देखो, what she says is कि ये जो altruism है ना, it has been forced upon by the dictators upon people. जैसे अभी मोदी जी, sorry, not dictators, or like मोदी जी, this present regime, अब demonetization हो गया. What happened? People suffered because of that thing. What he said? कि please take this thing. Okay, it will just be for 50 or let's say 60 days, but the country will be benefited. You should remain altruistic towards your country. But what happened? Nothing happened. You suffered. Okay, and all the perks of the demonetization were cornered by the supporters of government. Okay, so this is what she says, that this altruism is a tool used by dictators. And there is nothing wrong in being selfish. Every person has a right to work for himself. There is nothing wrong in it. Okay, ये approach था, simple. So just write 2-3 lines. Selfishness means the pursuit of one's rational self-interest. It means to live by the judgment of one's own mind, and not to force anything on others. Selfishness should not be identified with evil. To attack selfishness is an attack on man's self-esteem. Rand was opposed to altruistic morality. She was opposed to altruistic morality. Altruism orders man to sacrifice one's interest for the good of others. Okay. There's nothing wrong in helping others. But it is not one's ethical duty. Okay. Pure altruism treats human beings as animals for sacrifice. Pure altruism treat human beings as animals of sacrifice. And dictators use altruistic morality to suppress human rights and freedom of thought and speech. Okay. So now just one more is left, John Rawls, that we will do on Monday. John Rawls and Amartya Sen also is there. And then on Monday we'll move to Indian philosophy. Thank you.